Oxygène is actually a project I've got in mind for quite a while when I did it, by trying to create a kind of bridge between the pure experimental music I was studying, and I was as a student following the course of the Research Music Center in Paris, headed by Pierre Schaeffer, who is really the guy who invented the idea of musique concrète and the idea of the fact that music is not made of notes or solfeggio only, but also and mainly made of sounds.
When Oxygène was released at the end of the 1970s, it was a true phenomenon. I think nobody expected that sort of music to suddenly appear out of nowhere when we were just in the middle of disco and the beginning of a true punk period. Oxygène was a real surprise, and jumped straight to #1 in the charts in the United States and England and in France. And it was the first time that a French composer, a French artist, hit the world outside his own national market with a music that was adopted by the whole planet, as being something that really marked the industry and the airwaves. Oxygène has sold 12 million albums since its release, and it's considered as a phenomenon that hit the world.
L'album Oxygène, en fait, a été un album assez révolutionnaire, comme chacun sait, parce qu'en fait, il a fait sortir la musique électronique du ghetto dans lequel elle s'était enfermée au départ, puisque c'était une musique assez expérimentale. Et moi, ce qui m'a plu dans Oxygène, c'est que cela faisait passer de l'autre côté de la barrière. On sortait de bruit pour faire une musique cohérente et accessible à tous. C'était ça la grande force d'Oxygène.
Oxygène is really the mixture, a bridge between, I would say, experimental music and pop music.
Ce disque-là, il l'a fait dans son placard, c'est-à-dire chez lui. Et c'était la première fois qu'un musicien enregistrait chez lui, parce que les studios, c'était très compliqué.
It's a homemade album. It has been made with probably one of the first home studio ever made at a time where music was always done in recording studios, but not at home. And I did the music with all these instruments around me. This is the mythology of electronic music. We are talking a lot of mythological instruments in classical music, such as Stradivarius and Bösendorfer or Steinway. In rock music, with the famous guitars, legendary guitars such as the Les Paul Gibson or Telecaster, Stratocaster from Fender. But with electronic music, these are the Fenders or the Stradivarius of electronic music, such as the Moog or the VCS3 or the ARP 2600, 2500. I mean, these instruments are really rarities, and they're like Rolls-Royce of Ferraris of electronic music. The instruments I used for doing Oxygène were those instruments around me. But I did this music all by myself, by overdubbing and re-recording. But obviously for the live performance I would need 8 hands for the 8 tracks. So the reason why that we are 4 on stage, and we have 4 times more instruments than what I needed at the time. Live in your living room is also with no sync time code, with no MIDI, with no digital technology.
What I've been doing for 1 month, it's been writing down all the parts of the original score, so that I've been working on this to make sure that we had common base, and which is exactly what Jean Michel has been doing 30 years ago.
Jean Michel a une façon très poétique d'aborder la musique et c'est comme ça qu'il travaille, par la poésie. C'est pas technique du tout, ça peut paraître technique avec tous les instruments.
He knows where it's going, and at times it's a little difficult to follow, but we have first to listen to what he's asking, and usually is right.
C'est quelqu'un qui privilégie la spontanéité du son et en même temps un acharnement thérapeutique sur la qualité du son. C'est-à-dire qu'on a passé beaucoup d'heures et de nuits devant la recherche précise du son, d'un filtre, d'une résonance, d'un choix de synthé. Et le gros problème, c'est que Jean Michel s'attache beaucoup à garder la spontanéité du jeu. Donc il faut arriver à mêler cette espèce de travail un peu de laboratoire du son avec toute la sensibilité d'un musicien. Et c'est là-dedans que je me sens assez complice de Jean Michel.
Ben, au lieu de me dire fais un accord de sol mineur ou un machin, il va me raconter une histoire, c'est une approche très poétique. Je sais pas comment expliquer ça.
The cover also of the album was also quite provocative with this skull inside the earth. It was quite a strong image showing and illustrating the risks and the danger we are developing around, towards the planet if we are not taking care of it. I mean, now, these days, I mean, everybody more or less is conscious about that, but at that time it was quite important to, I think, make this kind of statement, not in a kind of dogmatic way, but in a kind of more surrealistic way. The idea of live in your living room is actually to do a live concert, but with no proper live audience, but the audience is yourself. The audience is the people in their living rooms experimenting the music and also the visual.
It seemed natural for the 30th anniversary of Oxygène that we should do something. And Jean Michel being quite in tune with technology and wanted to present Oxygène in a very personal fashion.
It's the first live performance filmed in 3D, in stereoscopy, where you have the image that can go and come into your living room. I mean, escaping from the screen, literally.
And the decision to re-record Oxygène and to interpret it live and film it in 3D was Jean Michel's way of actually sharing it on a more personal point of view. It was a bit of a challenge to actually come and try and do this in 3D, but I think the result has been spectacular. Probably shares it with a new generation of an audience who hasn't heard that music.
So obviously the feeling of playing these instruments is absolutely terrific, because what you forget is these days is the idea of accident or risks. I mean, with computers these days you have no risk anymore. I mean, everything can be pre-organized, planned, and then you have minimum of risks for obviously also to optimize the result. But with those instruments, actually everything can happen. And you know, I always like the idea that it's from accidents that creation and creativity and ideas happened.